في صحيحيهما عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه عيش إلا عيش الآخرة. Tonight's narration comes to us from the collection of both Imam Muslim and Imam Bukhari, where they narrate on the authority of Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, where he narrates that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam says, "O Allah, there is no true life except the life of the hereafter." The Prophet ﷺ said this phrase with different phrasing in multiple different contexts throughout his life ﷺ. And the big lesson that we can extract from it is one of zuhd, or asceticism. Now zuhd, the working definition for it is detachment from this dunya and prioritizing the hereafter and spiritually preparing for it. So detaching from the luxuries and the pleasures of this dunya and detaching from dunya in general and focusing on the akhirah and prioritizing it and preparing for it as best as we can. And it's an internal state of the heart. It's something that the heart feels. So it's not necessarily something that is expressed, although a lot of people conflate zuhd or asceticism or being an ascetic with extreme poverty or difficulty in your life. And that's just an inappropriate conflation between the two. You could be somebody who's extremely wealthy but still practice zuhd, and vice versa. You could be somebody who's living in extreme poverty and be so insanely attached to dunya, even though you can't reach any of it. And if you've seen this, maybe back home, I've seen this in Egypt before, where people don't have enough to make ends meet, but they're so focused on the brand that they're wearing or the house that they live in and whatnot. So that's living in extreme poverty, but still being attached to the dunya. And to reach a state of zuhd, or to practice zuhd in your life, it takes a lot of reflection, right? It's an internal state that the heart reaches. And oftentimes for the Khatera that we do, it's us explaining the hadith and offering commentary on it. I'll do you one better. I'll offer somebody else's commentary on it or an explanation for it. That's much better than anything I can offer. So Imam al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah ta'ala was asked, "Ma sirru zuhdika fi dunya?" He was asked, what's your secret to being able to detach from the worldly life? And he said 4 things. The first gem that he gave us was, he says, عَلِمْتُ أَنَّ رِزْقِي لَا يَأْخُذُهُ غَيْرِي فَاطْمَأَنَّ قَلْبِي. He says that I knew that my provision, my rizq, that was decreed and written for me, nobody else is going to take it but me. It will reach me as long as it was decreed for me. And that put my heart at ease. And oftentimes it's the pursuit of our rizq that attaches us or tethers us to the dunya. Right? When we focus on our provision as the outcome, and we see it as the end and not simply just a means to an end, that ends up making us feel attached to the dunya. And we talked about this a number of weeks ago in a different khatera, where we talked about that theory of hedonic adaptation, where every time you achieve something in your life, you feel that insane high, but then it just comes back down to baseline at some point. And if you chasing your rizq every single time, a different goal in your life, if that becomes the end and not just the means to the end, that the Prophet ﷺ said the true life is the life of the hereafter, not this life, when the goals and the rizq that happens in this dunya is your end goal, that tethers you to the dunya inappropriately. And that's the first thing that he said. The second thing he said was, عَلِمْتُ أَنَّ عَمَلِي لَا يَقُومُ بِهِ غَيْرِي فَاشْتَغَلْتُ بِهِ وَحْدِي. He says that I knew that the actions that I'm responsible and accountable for, nobody else is going to come and perform these actions on my behalf, so I busied myself with these actions on my own. And when he says I busied myself with these actions on my own, he isn't dismissive of collaborative action where all of us can come together and build something. It's more so just emphasizing that each one of us is responsible solely for our own actions. وَكُلُّهُمْ آتِيهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. Every single one of us will answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as individuals for our own actions. His third point was, عَلِمْتُ أَنَّ اللَّهَ مُطَّلِعٌ عَلَيّْ فَاسْتَحْيَيْتُ أَنْ يَرَانِي عَلَى مَعْصِيَةٍ. He says, I knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is constantly watching over me. So I felt a sense of shame or embarrassment to have Him see me in a state of disobedience. And if we go back to the original rule here, which is the Prophet ﷺ's hadith of there's no true life except the life of the hereafter. And so any pleasure that you derive that comes at the expense of the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, shouldn't, by following this rule, bring you any pleasure, because it comes at the expense of displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His fourth rule, rahimahullah, he says, and this rule is sort of the punchline to the four. Like if the first three don't really resonate with you, if the first three don't move anything within you, this should be the one that sort of catches your attention. And if you can't act on the first three, this one should be it. He closes with, عَلِمْتُ أَنَّ الْمَوْتَ يَنْتَظِرُنِي فَأَعْدَدْتُ الزَّادَ لِلِقَاءِ رَبِّي. He says, I knew that death is waiting for me. And so I prepared myself to meet my Lord and my Creator. And the Prophet ﷺ teaches us to increase in our remembrance of death and increase in the remembrance of our own mortality. He says, أَكْثِرُوا ذِكْرِ هَذِمِ اللَّذَّاتِ يعني الْمَوْتِ. To increase in the remembrance of the destroyer of all pleasures. And that's the thing that sort of sobers you a little bit when you're so attached to certain things within dunya, whether it be tangible material things that you have in your life or certain goals that you're just focused on pursuing. Remembering your own mortality and remembering the fact that you're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you have to prepare for that meeting spiritually, that should be the thing that sobers you and disconnects you from those things and allows your heart to practice a state of zuhd and to reach a state of zuhd. I hope that was of benefit. يروي الإمام مسلم والإمام البخاري في صحيحيهما عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال اللهم لا عيش إلا عيش الآخرة. Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Oh Allah, there is no true life except the life of the hereafter." صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد